Hello and welcome. My name is Chris Gibbons. I'm the director for the Healthcare Administration Program, and welcome to the program. You're obviously working through that new student checklist because the first item on there was to watch this welcome introduction video. So good job on that. In this video, what I do want to do is kind of talk a little bit about what the next steps are going to be as you become a new student here at Mercy College and within the Healthcare Administration Program. I know that when we start anything new, there can be a little bit of nervousness, a little bit of apprehension about what the process is going to be like. So what I want to do in this video is kind of dispel any nervousness that you may have as you start the program, hopefully answer a lot of those questions that you may have in the back of your mind. So let's start off with some basic kind of frequently asked questions that I get from students as they start the program. And that usually centers around technical requirements. The first thing I'm going to talk about is hardware requirements. Obviously, you're in an online program, so you will need a computer. That could be a laptop, that could be a desktop. What it can't be is mobile. So whether you have a tablet or a great smartphone, you'll be able to do a lot of things on mobile devices, but you won't be able to do everything. So you do want to make sure that you have a serviceable laptop computer at your disposal. Now, one of the things you do want to look at when you look at your computer is, how old is it? If you're running Windows XP, well, you might be due for an upgrade. In general, your computer should be maybe no more than about 5 years old. Maybe you could be a little bit longer than that. But the reason why is that if you have an older laptop or computer, the chances of a failure can increase. And if you have a hard drive failure during the middle of a semester and all of your information was on there, it can be very, very stressful for you. So take a look at your hardware, take a look at that laptop or that desktop that you have. Again, it might be an older one and maybe it's perfectly just fine, but do take a look at that. Again, to avoid any kind of stressful situation with a catastrophic hardware failure, and that is usually a hard drive failure. And that has happened to students. Again, it can be very stressful when all their information is lost, or it can be very, very expensive to extract information on a failed hard drive. Now, as far as if you decide to upgrade and get a new computer, if your computer, again, is maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, you do not need top end. A basic laptop, especially if you're a thrifty shopper, you could probably find something around the 400 or below mark that will be just fine. So, you don't need cutting edge, hardware for that. Now, there's some other pieces of peripherals that you might need. Now, every laptop produced probably in the last 8 years has an incorporated video camera or webcam and a microphone. As you go through the program, there will be some times where you'll be doing presentations, kind of like what I'm doing here, where you'll be on camera. So you will need a webcam either incorporated within your laptop or a webcam that you have, on your desktop system. And as far as sound goes, usually webcams have an incorporated microphone. But what we have found for the laptops is usually the microphone is not the best. So what we recommend is that students look at, well, first check it out. Maybe your microphone is just fine. Usually Macintosh, Macs have great mics on them. Probably no need to upgrade. But if you found that you recorded yourself and it sounded like you were talking in the bottom of a barrel, you probably want to look at getting an external microphone. A lot of students will get something like this little stick mic. They run about $15, any kind of big box store. Another one that students look at is a headset mic. So this type here with the little boom mic that comes down, again around $10 to $15. And it provides really, really good sound. The camera that it's incorporated in most laptops will be perfectly fine. That won't be an issue. You just might need some extra lights to make yourself kind of pop out of the picture. But take a look at what you got, see how it sounds, how it looks. You may be perfectly fine, or you might need to make a quick run to Best Buy at some point and get that microphone. So as far as hardware requirements, that pretty much covers it. They're pretty minimal. Have a good functioning computer at home, and make sure that your multimedia capabilities, your video and audio capture capabilities are there. So that's pretty much all that you'll need for going through the program. Now, as far as software, usually a lot of questions about that. Do I need any specialized software? Well, your digital campus Desire to Learn, that will be all web-based, so you won't need anything special for that. It works very well with both Chrome and Internet Explorer and also Microsoft Edge, so we haven't had any problems with that. So you're pretty much covered in that area, even Safari as well. As far as the one piece of software, though, that you will most likely need, that is Microsoft Office. Now, most of our assignments that you'll be writing, they will be submitted and they have to be in a Word format. So that means Microsoft Office. You also might be doing some spreadsheet work down the road and or some PowerPoint work down the road. Again, Microsoft Office will be needed for that. So I would, again, take a look at your laptop. Maybe you already have Office on your laptop. I think any edition of Office, probably from 10 on forward, would be perfectly fine. Office has greatly reduced in price, which has been fantastic. So if you are thinking about that, you've looked at it, maybe you've got Office 7 and you think, well, I probably should upgrade. I'd say if you're at 7, you probably do want to upgrade. Please take a look at the discounts that are available from Microsoft as a student. Take a look at those. They have a great product called Office 365 University Edition. That runs, I've seen it discounted almost down to $40, but usually hovers around $60, and that's good for 4 years and gives you everything within the Microsoft Office suite that you would need. So take a look at that. You can find that directly from Microsoft. Now, there are also absolutely free versions of software that will emulate Microsoft Office, the biggest one being Google Docs. So if you're a Google user, you can use Google Docs to write those papers. Just remember that whenever you're saving that document and submitting it to one of your instructors, it has to be in a Microsoft format, which is called a DocX format. So if you don't know what that is, you may kind of want to do some research, or you can always feel free to ask me, but you do want to make sure that it's saved in a Microsoft Office format, which is a .doc or .x. Of course, if you have the Microsoft products, you don't need to worry about that. If you are using Pages, which is the word processing suite for Apple products, you can use Pages. Pages does have the ability to save in those .dox or the regular doc formats, but you got to tell it to do that. So just be very careful. Reason we have you do all this is because of our instructors do not have access to Pages or any other software applications other than Microsoft Office. So in order to open your assignments, they need it in the format that's able for them to open. So keep that in mind. So that's about the only piece of software that you'll ever need here at the college. There will be some presentation software, but that's all web-based that you'll be doing in the future, so no worries there. Okay, so that covers some of the basic, technical requirements that you'll need for the program. My guess is most of you probably have all of those covered already. All right, well, let's take a look at the checklist, and I want to highlight a few more things as you're kind of going through this process. So on here, you've already watched the introduction video, so great, check that one off. You do want to establish your college email. So do look at the instructions in there. There is a spot where you are actually, the first thing that you'll need to do is to reset your password. We make up a generic password here at the college, but we want you to set your own personalized password. So you'll do that first, then you'll be able to get into your regular email account. Again, just follow the procedure that is in your packet and you'll be just fine. Once you get that established, do send me a test email. Make sure it works. Just in the subject line, put your name, just say hello, and I know I've received it, and I'll send you a reply back so we know everything is working. The next thing you'll want to do is register for your spring courses. So in each one of your packets, you have received both a full and part-time plan of study. Choose the plan that you're most interested in and schedule those courses. Again, instructions are in there for you to do that. You're going to be doing that through our course registration system, which is called EmpowerMe. There's going to be a few, I'm going to stop here just for a moment. There's a few key systems that you'll be using here at the college. One is your email, and that'll be run through Outlook, Outlook 365, which you'll be following those instructions and setting up your email. The other system that you'll use is Empower or EmpowerMe. We just usually say Empower for short. That's your course registration system. That's also where you'll see your grades. So students usually only typically log on to that system maybe twice a semester, once to register for courses and then at the end to check and see what their final grades are. So you really won't be in Empower that often, but it is very important because it is how you register for your classes, of course see your class schedule, and see your final grades. Where you're going to be spending most of your time is the next system, and that is Brightspace, and that's your digital campus. So those are really the three big systems that you'll be using here at the college. All right, so enough about those major systems. All right, let's go back to the checklist. All right, so we stopped off at registering for your spring courses. Again, all of you will have those plan of studies in your packets. The next thing I'd like you to do is just to try to access Brightspace. That's your digital campus. Now, the courses that you registered for may not be showing up yet, but that's okay. It can take up to a 48-hour delay for those courses to show up, but you should be able to log on and at least see the area. The places where your courses will be blank, but you should be able to log on. So check it out, kind of sniff around, get a feel of how the layout is for that. The next thing you're going to be looking at doing is ordering your textbooks. Again, it's all outlined. There's instruction packets on how to do each one of these action items on the checklist, and it will walk you through how to order textbooks. Now, a question I get about that is, Chris, do I need to order textbooks from the college bookstore? And no, you don't. It's totally up to you on where you get the textbook as long as you have the right textbook. You must have the correct textbook when you start your class. What many students do is they will register for their courses. They'll know what courses they need. They will go to our bookstore. All of this is online. They'll go to our online bookstore, see what books are required. They will take note. They'll basically copy the ISBN number. The ISBN number is basically the serial number of that textbook. And then they'll go to some, hopefully, reputable bookseller and price shop. So I will say, for example, Amazon typically is about 30 to 40% cheaper than what we offer here at the college. So please take a look at that. Now, for students receiving financial aid, in some cases, that financial aid package is built into the college bookstore. So if you are one of those individuals, I guess kind of be careful there. And I will say the college bookstore that we use is great on service. So that is definitely a plus for them. As far as the timeliness of them getting your books out. But again, feel free to look at any sources that you want for your textbooks. The one thing I will just kind of caution you, though, is kind of buyer beware. You do choose only reputable booksellers. You do not, I would not recommend risking eBay. Occasionally students have done that, and the seller is promising to ship them the book, and they never get the book in time, or they get it after the class is completed. So again, I would stick with your reputable booksellers, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, etc., if you decide to go that route. Another action item on your checklist is financial aid or tuition reimbursement. So if you are receiving financial aid from the college and from the federal government, please contact them immediately if you haven't already done so. Usually by the time you are at this point in the process, most students have already contacted financial aid, filled out their FAFSA, have gotten back their award letter and have all that done. If these are foreign terms to you and you are still interested in getting financial aid, again, please contact the financial aid office immediately. They are fantastic folks that can work with you very quickly, but please contact them soon if you are in that process or interested in looking at financial aid. Tuition reimbursement. Some of you are lucky enough to work for employers that will reimburse you for your education. My recommendation is you contact your HR department or whomever is in charge of that as soon as possible to make sure that you have everything required that the employer needs to make sure that you are eligible for financial aid. Every employer is a little bit different, but many of them usually want some sort of pre-approval process before awarding you any kind of aid. They usually want to make sure that you're taking a degree that benefits their institution. In most cases, healthcare administration is never a problem, but you do want to make sure that you kind of cross all those T's and dot all those I's with your employer so you can get that reimbursement, again, if you're lucky enough that your employer offers reimbursement. The next thing you're going to look at on your checklist, your next action item, is to schedule your academic advising appointment. Your critical person to your success here is going to be your academic advisor. Now, Mary Arch, she is your academic advisor, so you do want to schedule that appointment with Mary. We would like you to have that appointment before the start of classes. Sometimes, depending on when you receive this packet, it may be the week of your first week of classes, but do schedule that as quickly as possible to try to get in with Mary. The nice thing about that is you're going to be establishing that relationship, that communication with her. She'll be instrumental in your success kind of going forward through the program. The scheduling for appointments is all done online, so you'll be able to schedule a time that's convenient for you. Again, it may be a very brief phone call lasting only 10 minutes, or you may have a ton of questions and take as much time as you need, but do schedule that appointment with your academic advisor. Then the last thing that you'll be doing, or the last item on our action checklist here, is to register and complete your HCA student community. That's a fancy word for your orientation class. So you're going to have an online orientation that'll guide you through some of the basics of online learning. It will get you familiar with your digital campus. You'll learn about college resources. You'll learn a little bit more about the healthcare administration program. But what this really does and how it benefits you is it makes you feel you're completely comfortable with the online environment by the end of this process. So when your classes start, you are not worried about the technology. You've worked all that out. You've been able to sign on. You've been able to submit kind of mock assignments. You kind of know how it's going to work before it even starts, and that's what we want you to do. And whether you're an online veteran, you've been taking classes online all of your education, or whether you're totally brand new to the online learning process, this orientation will get you comfortable with all of that. It usually only takes students about 6 to maybe 8 hours to complete that whole process. Most students usually, it is self-paced, so they usually break it up in 2 or 3 sessions. That's what I would recommend. Don't try to do it all at once unless you really like sitting there for 6 hours and completing something, but I'd recommend that you kind of take it in parts and digest it slowly over maybe 2 to 3 sessions. That way it can kind of sink in. Of course, you can always go back and visit components of that if you want to review any of the materials that were presented within that orientation process. Make sure you look at your welcome letter, because the orientation has an open date when you can start to work through that. All that we ask is that you have that completed by the first day of your class, which will be stated in your welcome letter. So make sure you make sure you mark down that important date of your first classes that is noted in your welcome letter. Put it on your refrigerator. Make sure that you know when that's going to be. All right, well, that kind of concludes our little walkthrough. Hopefully you feel more comfortable about the process of becoming a new student here at the college and into the HCA program. We're so pleased that you've chosen Mercy College for your education. It definitely will return you many rewards in the future as you go forward throughout your career. And remember, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. My contact information is located in your new student packets. All right. Well, I'll be seeing you in your first course for almost all of you. Most of you take HCA 214, so I will be teaching that course. So I'll see you all in a few weeks. Thanks.